my name is Onur and I'm a cybersecurity semester 4 student at the Hogeschool. In this video I'll be covering my progress with file or path reversal as one of my learning goals. And in order to set this up, I've set up a website called DBH. I've also talked about this in my previous videos. With this website you can pretty much try a lot of different web techniques out, see if they're applicable or not. This website is made poorly on purpose so that people can learn new skills or whatever. If you want to have more information about this, you should look at my other videos. Right, so let's get into this. What is file inclusion? Pretty much PHP has a big vulnerability where it could include a certain file, but the way it includes is it doesn't check whether or not this is actually a file or not. This is a bit useful depending on the context. Like, let's say you just want to include something fast without defining all of the constraints for it, including in PHP is pretty damn fast. The disadvantage of this is though that it is very vulnerable for bad actors. And why is this vulnerable? I'll show you right now. Let's see the source first. So what the PHP does is it gets the variable after page. So it sees what is being requested and it tries to load it into the page. So when we type something like google.nl into it, you'll get the Google search browser and yeah, it's like vulnerable, made on purpose. Right, so what I actually made was a script, which you can see at the bottom right. And this is the output of the script. I was first testing whether or not it was vulnerable for this type of call or not. So what you're seeing right here is the echo of the home page. What this does is I made a file in one of the other directories of my example, which isn't in the directory of this DBH map at all, and I was wondering if it could load the contents of something that's not in the folder of the current web page, and it does. And as you can see, if this is displayed on the web page, it means it's vulnerable. And I can show you that file. Give me a second. Let's back one more directory. Yeah, this is the text file being read by the website. So this means that this website is susceptible for path, file inclusion, whatever. What I also made in my PHP script was something that read out all of the files and currently present in the directory that the PHP was being read in. This means that every file in here is in the same directory as the file inclusion directory. I'm guessing that FE stands for file inclusion. So that's the second thing. What I also made was something that echoed the path of the direct absolute thing. Let's say you're doing some kind of gray or black box. You wouldn't be able to get inside of the system without knowing what kind of path is being run. This could also tell you what kind of operating system or what kind of implementation the website is being hosted on. That's very important because you want to be able to guess where to put your files in actually. So the most important thing is I've copied actually an image upload script from We3 Schools. I've modified it heavily so that all of the inputs annotation would be gone and it would just choose a file and upload an image, it says. It doesn't actually check if the file being uploaded is an image or not. It also doesn't check whether or not the file already exists, which is a point I will cover a bit later in this video. So the way it works is you can pretty much select any file that you want to upload and the file will be uploaded in the right directory. And since we have the directory right here, as you can see in this upload, it actually puts it in the right directory. So let's say that we want to replace index.php, it'd be possible because we know the absolute path of this website. Right. Without further ado, what I also created was a PHP shell. I've also shown you in the previous video, command injection, how I did this. I actually found out that I didn't do it the right way. The way you're supposed to do it is by opening a port on your attacking PC and having your victim PC connect to this open port. The way I did it was the other way around. I let my victim PC open a port which my attacking PC connected to. And this is really silly, but let's say there's a firewall between you and the victim PC. This port opening it could not. There's a high chance of this not working. But the other way around, where the victim PC connects to your attacking PC, that's a much more stable environment, because you can actually define your own open port on your attacking PC, while you might not have the chance to do that on your victim PC. And also, you could relentlessly try to reconnect or build something into the reverse shell so that the connection will be dropped. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is show you my command terminal. What I'm doing on it is listening with port 4455, and as you can see in my shell.php, it will connect to this IP address, which is a local IP address, which my host, like the actual PC you're looking at, is running, and its port. And it will also open in CMD. So what this script pretty much does is it opens a CMD terminal on my Windows, which isn't going to be visible to the user or whoever is on the server, and this netcat will connect to my PC with the right port. This code will not work on Linux machines most likely, unless you modify the cmd.exe into bash, and I think the syntax for netcat is also different on Linux distributions, just the one. So when I upload this image, it will confirm me that it's been uploaded. So I go back to this page, I refresh it, and I see that shell.php is added to the directory of this map. And if we go back to the actual map inside my example, we will find out that this is indeed the case. And there it is. So when we run this shell.php, the Apache will start freezing up, and my attacking PC will have opened the connection to this victim PC. So I tried out other PHP shells as well, but they just wouldn't work. I think some of them relied on it being run on a Linux distribution, others they have a massive payload which you try to I'm not sure what exactly is going on in here, but something went wrong with this line, the Rust using I'm not sure why it went wrong. So I just made my own PHP cell, which is really simple. The only disadvantage is that this relies on the victim PC having netcat, and I'm pretty sure it's also possible to figure out how to make your victim PC install netcat or whatever. There must be better implementations. This is just an example, so I can show you that this would work using a web shell. So what does the power of having a web shell grant us? Well, we can pretty much do anything with the system that we want now. So we're now in the C directory. Since this is a Windows machine, there is going to be a Windows System 32. Yeah, you can pretty much maliciously modify all of these files. Right, and how would we prevent such an attack from occurring, you might say, you might ask. Well, first off, we need to restart the Apache, because the script will be just freezing on the netcat connection. So we can look at the source of this web page. When we compare this this higher functionality level, this impossible, it pretty much does the same thing as the command injection page, which is inputting the sanitation is pretty much defined by all of the things that are needed to be shown on the web page. So as you can see, this page has a file 1.php and a file 2.php and a file 3.php. I even found out that there's a file 4.php. But what this pretty much does is it checks if the file submitted, which is the variable of the page, matches one of these names. And by having this, and since these files already exist on the server, there is no way to actually make use of this. Like the impossible file inclusion source would prevent any vulnerability with file inclusion, I'd say, because it actually checks for what is allowed and what isn't. So that way if we compare this for the medium file inclusion source, for example, it is shown that they check whether or not the page requested has HTTP or HTTPS in it, which is also pretty effective, but not too effective, because you could still link local things within this array without it being stripped out. And the Hive file inclusion source, it also does the same thing, but it checks if the path name matches or not. So the best way to do, like let's say you do have something like this where you want to show your clients what their IP address is by using include or whatever, you should check whether or not the file name matches what the file name was when it was inputted. Right, that was my path traversal learning goal. Until next time.